Good morning, class. In the last class, we were studying the chapter 3 of history, the Delhi Sultanate. Today, we'll go ahead in the chapter and study about the Khaljis. The last ruler of slave dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Balban. He was put to death by an official of Khalji tribe named Firoz Shah. Firoz Shah took Jalaluddin's name on ascending the throne. So, Jalaluddin was the founder and first sultan of Khalji dynasty. He was a benevolent ruler. Benevolent means kind hearted. But people criticized his administration as weak. The most important event during his rule was the attack of Mongols, which was repulsed by Jalaluddin. Jalaluddin Khalji was killed by his ambitious nephew Alauddin Khalji, as he wanted to succeed him to the throne of Delhi. One of the African traveler of 14th century named Ibn Battuta. We have read about Ibn Battuta in the first chapter under the heading of Foreign Sources of Literary Evidence. So, Ibn Battuta mentioned that Alauddin Khilji was considered as one of the best sultans, but he was also known to be cruel, resolute ruler. Resolute means determined. Alauddin Khalji's ambition was to conquer the world like Alexander the Great. Now let us see the conquest of Alauddin Khalji. Conquest means invasion and taking control. Alauddin Khalji annexed Gujarat, Malwa and Mewar and captured the forts of Ranthambore and Chittor. In Gujarat, he has the services of Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur was a slave. He became the general of Alauddin's army. Alauddin Khalji, with the help of Malik Kafur, became the first ruler of Delhi Sultanate to extend his kingdom to the south of river Narmada. Various administrative reforms were brought during the reign of Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin Khalji was an excellent administrator. He increased the size of army to protect his empire. But maintaining high army added to more expenses. So he had to find ways to meet these expenses. For this, he confiscated the rent-free holding that has been allotted to priest and government official. Confiscated means to seize. The land revenue was raised to half of the total produce, and the peasants have to directly pay the revenue to the states. Peasants means farmers. There were also checks on the prices of the commodities so that soldiers could live within their limited income. Even to prevent the conspiracies amongst the noble, Alauddin Khalji banned all banquets and assemblies. He also transformed the markets of Delhi. He set up different markets for different articles. Various other administrative reforms were brought up by Alauddin Khalji. He made arrangements to store large quantities of grains to be used in times of need. The weights and balances of the merchants were also checked regularly. Amir Khusro was a poet in Alauddin Khilji's court. He wrote his poetry in Persian, which is enjoyed by people even today. After the death of Alauddin, his general named Malik Kafur placed Alauddin's son on the throne. Alauddin's son was a minor. Minor is a person who is under the age and he is not able to take the legal responsibility. So Malik Kafur tried to rule in the name of his minor son, but they both were put to death. In 1320, the last Khalji ruler Khusro Khan was put to death by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and that marked to the beginning of Tughlaq dynasty. Now let us read about the Tughlaqs. In this, we will look at the way how common people were taxed during the Tughlaq dynasty, how land revenue was calculated, what was the nature of development of political institutions in the military. We will also see the records of travelers and how travelers' accounts in historic buildings helps to reconstruct building. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty, as he killed the last ruler of Khalji dynasty. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq built a city made of rose-colored granite in Delhi. This city was known by Tughlaqabad. Unfortunately, now the ruins of this city remains. This is the picture. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was followed by his son Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the most famous ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty. In Indian history, he is known as a confused genius. He was capable administrator and commander and a good scholar. His plans and intentions were always good, but he was a man who thought ahead of the times. He carried out his plans thoughtlessly and in hurry, which resulted in failure. To understand better, let us look at the project started by the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. First, shifting of capital. Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to shift his capital from Delhi to Devgiri, also known as Daulatabad. It was a city located around 1400 kilometers from Delhi. 1400 kilometers suggests much far. On paper, it sounds like a sensible idea, as Daulatabad was at the center of his vast empire, but eventually the project failed. It was because of two reasons. First, he ordered the entire population of Delhi to shift to Daulatabad. This caused great hardship to people as 1400 kilometers are not less, and to settle at such far place was even more cumbersome. Second reason of failure of the project was they left the northwestern frontiers of the empire and those were exposed to attacks from Mongols. So when Muhammad bin Tughlaq realized his mistake, he again shifted back his capital to Delhi, which again caused hardships to its people. Another project of Muhammad bin Tughlaq was taxation in Delhi. Muhammad bin Tughlaq needed more money to carry out various plans. So, to raise more money, he increased tax as well as introduced new ones also. Well, tax is a compulsory levy by government on the people. Nowadays, you must have heard about GST, goods and service tax, income tax. So, Muhammad bin Tughlaq increased the land tax in the fertile Ganga Yamuna Doab. But it was wrong time to increase the tax as the Doab region was passing through famine. Famine means extreme scarcity of food. Farmers faced untold misery and riots broke out. Misery means state of physical or mental distress or discomfort. Therefore, the Sultan was forced to withdraw his orders. Even to improve agriculture, he made new department of agriculture. Another project was of token currency. The Sultan issued token coins. These coins were of brass and copper and were stamped with a value equal to that of silver. These coins were circulated. This experiment proved to be disaster because people started minting coins at home. Minting means to make a coin by stamping metal. Hundreds of thousands of copied or counterfeit coins came to circulation. This resulted in widespread fraud. After all this, Muhammad had to withdraw the token currency. Even he had to exchange all the token coins made of brass or copper for silver ones. Expedition to Northeast. Muhammad bin Tughlaq undertook an expedition to China and Kachal in Kumayu, in the Garhwal region of the Himalayas. Expedition means a journey by a group of people for the purpose of exploration, research, or war. Unfortunately, this also proved to be another disaster as it led to the death of all the soldiers except few. So all these schemes followed by Muhammad bin Tughlaq were basically sounds good but suffered from lack of proper planning. All the schemes and projects of Muhammad bin Tughlaq caused suffering to his country and his subjects. If we talk about the administration, he was an excellent administrator. Administrator is a person who manages. His empire was one of the largest empire ever ruled by any Muslim ruler in India. His empire was even larger than that of Akbar who came later. He did much for his people also. He opened many hospitals, many almshouses. Almshouses are for charity for accommodating poor people. He also believed in the divine right theory of kingship and hence he kept absolute power in his hands. He did not allow religion and administration to mix up. Breakup of the empire. The Sultan, who was at a time the proud ruler of the largest empire in India, began to lose control in 1330 as the Mongols entered deep into the India. Muhammad bin Tughlaq died in 1351 when he was trying to put down the revolt in Sindh. He was succeeded by his cousin Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah was not as capable as Muhammad bin Tughlaq, however, he was a prolific builder. Prolific means productive. Today, he is known for the outstanding mosque and forts which he built then. Dear students, so from where we assemble the knowledge about Muhammad bin Tughlaq? We gathered the information about him by both Indian historians and foreign travelers. One of them was Ziauddin Barani. He was an Indian historian. He spent 17 years of his life in the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The another one was Ibn Battuta, the foreign traveler. Now let us see the administration under the Tughlaqs. First, let us understand what are iqtas. So, Iltutmish under his rule had divided the empire into several large and small pieces of land, and these pieces of lands were known as iqtas. So, the Tughlaqs carried on with the administrative structure handed down by Iltutmish. The Tughlaqs, instead of paying nobles, officers, and religious leaders a salary, they had given them iqtas, and the official who receive iqtas have to pay the king a portion of the revenue they collected from the land. Land tax. The tax charged on the land varied from ruler to ruler. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq reduced the high land tax imposed by Alauddin Khalji, but Muhammad bin Tughlaq raised it again, especially in the Doab. Firoz Shah Tughlaq reduced it again. All the Tughlaq sultans, however, tried to improve the condition of the people. To improve agriculture, irrigation, canals were built. The sultan opened hospitals and almhouses and encouraged scholars through donations. Now, the role of nobles. The Tughlaq sultans had an efficient system of espionage. Espionage is the practice of spying by government to obtain political and military information. Through spying, Tughlaq sultans were able to suppress any form of rebellion. The nobles were mainly of Turkish and Afghan origin. They were very powerful. The strongest sultans repeatedly tried to break the power of the nobles. During the rule of weak sultans or during period of unrest, they often emerged stronger than the sultans. The invasion of Timur. In 1398, during the rule of last major Tughlaq ruler Muhammad Tughlaq, the Delhi Sultanate was attacked by Timur. Timur was a Central Asian Turk who embraced Islam. He set up his kingdom in Samarkand. Timur entered Delhi and destroyed the city. He also robbed Meerut and Jammu. The Tughlaq Empire never recovered from his attack. The rule of Tughlaq was followed by Saids and Lodhis. Their rule lasted for more than 100 years. Sikandar Lodhi. Sikandar Lodhi was one of the better known rulers of the Lodhi dynasty. Under him, the Delhi Sultanate extended from present day Punjab to Bihar. He was an able administrator and encouraged trade and commerce. He shifted the capital of Sultanate from Delhi to Agra. Then, Ibrahim Lodhi. Ibrahim Lodhi was the last Sultan of Delhi Sultanate. He has been described as an arrogant man. He treated the Afghan nobles with little respect. The nobles revolted and invited Babur. Babur was the king of Kabul. He helped them overthrow Ibrahim Lodi. Taking advantage of the situation, Babur invaded India. He defeated and killed Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat. So, on this note, the chapter Delhi Sultanate is completed. So, now it's your responsibility to, after watching all the parts of this chapter, Read the chapter once again yourself. Happy learning. Have a good day ahead.